Are you ready to unlock these 10 secrets that will help you join the top 1%? I mean, these things will differentiate you so that you can have a life different from others that are filled with things that you love. That's what matters at the end of the day, right? My name is Junyo. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. If you're returning, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be discussing 10 fundamental elements that you should have as your starting foundation. The list can be a lot more than these 10 things, so there's a lot that I will be missing, but in my opinion, these are 10 important things that will be integral to your success. And if you find any value in this video, I hope that you like it, you leave your thoughts in the comments, and of course, subscribe. With all that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Number 1, vision and clarity. What do you want? Not what your friends want, not what people your age want, not what the norm or the standard is, but what is it that you want out of life? Where do you see yourself upon graduation? What type of experiences do you want? What type of lifestyle do you want to have? What type of opportunities do you want? What type of people do you want to be interacting with? What type of impact do you want to have on people? Those are incredible goals to have, but I promise you they won't be attained by being average. If that was the case, probably you wouldn't even want it in the first place. That's why it's a goal. It's different, but you need to understand that. You have to make sacrifices, but that sacrifice can't even be made. You can't even make progress towards your goal until you have a sense of vision and clarity and understanding that, hey, this is what I want. Now, that's great to think about in terms of a conceptual standpoint and a macro level, but how do you actually do this on a practical level? Well, you take those macro goals and you break them down into micro goals, and that's a skill. You break them down to its most fundamental component, and you practice doing that consistently. If you can accomplish doing those smaller micro goals consistently, 2 things are going to happen for you. 1, you'll build positive momentum moving forward, and 2, you'll establish confidence, because confidence is having an undeniable stack of proof that you are exactly who you say that you are. So that means if you can follow through with your commitments, it'll establish some confidence. So those 2 things will push you in the right direction. That's how you do it from a practical standpoint. So have clarity upon what it is that you want out of life. Take actionable steps by breaking it down into micro goals. And you continue to do those, you continue to stack up micro wins over a long period of time. You'll look up and you'll realize you're closer than ever to those macro goals. Number 2, continuous learning. The amount of experience it requires to be truly considered an expert or master in an area of study or skill, it's a lot, to say the very least. It's decades worth of devoting your entire livelihood to it. Many of us are too young to even have that type of opportunity just yet. So yes, absolutely carry yourself with a level of confidence and credibility if you've done the work, if you've prepared, but never cross the line into arrogance. Assume that you're wrong. Assume that there will always be areas for you to improve upon. Because I promise you this, the moment in which you grow too arrogant, the moment in which you believe there's no more room for improvement and that you're content, that you're all good, that you don't have to learn anymore, is where you stop progressing. The top 1%, that's a small pool of people, okay? And that means there's a lot of people that want to get there. If you stop progressing, eventually somebody out there will work harder than you, will continuously learn. So even if they didn't start at the same point as you, even though you're ahead right now, you stay stagnant for a little bit too long, I promise you somebody else will take your place in that 1%. You have to always embrace that learning mindset in every little thing that you do. Continuously seek out the advice of people that have more experience. Continuously read, continuously watch YouTube videos, continuously study, and never think that it's enough. Always continue to deepen your learning and your understanding of the certain skills or the fields that you want to go into. That's how you truly embrace the actual process of being in the 1%. You fall in love with the process, you'll continue to stay there. If you fall out of the process, that's when other people will catch up. Number 3, do reflections. This one boggles my mind because I don't understand how people don't do this regularly, because it's those people that will go throughout their lives in the same spot, unknowingly doing the same things, expecting a different result. Look, you should be doing regular, I mean daily reflections, not to some insane extent. I mean just a short 10 to 20 minute reflection about where you currently are at in life. This isn't just about how you feel. I found a lot of people think that's what reflections are. Yes, account for how you're feeling, but that's only a part of the puzzle in terms of a truly good reflection. The bigger part is an honest, a genuine sense of accountability with yourself. Are you where you want to be? Where are some of the strengths that you can continue to build upon? Where are the areas of weakness that you need to address? Practically speaking, the way that I do this, I have a journal, and every single morning I spend about 10 to 15 minutes doing this. At the beginning, it was a lot longer, but after getting in the rhythm of it, this is how I approach it. I find 2 things that I did well the day prior. And it's so important that you start this way because we are our biggest critics. It's so natural for us to jump to what we are bad at. It's hard to recognize what we're good at. But it's important that you show yourself a sense of appreciation, because if you view it from that lens, I promise you will find things that you are doing well at. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't continue to build upon it, again, you're not progressing. And so, for example, this morning, the 2 things that I did well yesterday that I will continue to build upon today is I got more than 7 hours of sleep, which has been hard with exams, and it's been hard with everything going on in my personal life. But I did that. And that's something I'm proud of, that I want to continue doing more of. That was number 1. Number 2 was I got all my emails and communication channels covered at the very beginning of the day yesterday. And that was important simply because so many times those little smaller tasks will stay on your mind throughout the period. And even though you don't recognize it to do this, it starts to take up a lot of mental energy and capacity to hold on to that. And it builds a sense of anxiety. And that I struggle with a lot. But I wanted to make sure that there were some really important messages that I need to get out yesterday. So I made sure to do that immediately upon waking up. And I felt really good about that. So I was able to recognize a high priority task, which were these messages. And I was able to make sure I took care of them, and it wasn't on the back of my mind throughout the rest of the day. That's a good thing. I was doing something positive. Those are the 2 things that I did positively that I want to continue building upon. The one weakness that I had was during lecture, I was getting distracted. Usually I'm pretty good about this, but again, there's a lot of moving parts in my life currently, and I was waiting for a certain message, a response back from the email that I had originally sent out earlier in the day. And so I just had the email tab up, but I found myself clicking on it and reading other emails. I just got distracted. And so that was a weak point. What I should have done was, okay, I know that I'm waiting on an email. I know that it's urgent, but what I need to take care of is this lecture in this current moment. And that's what I will do. I will set aside that time to look at that response later, but that's a weakness. And I admit that, and that's okay. I'm human. That's how I structure it. Now, looking at that, if I can continue to build upon the things I did well at, and then continue to address some of the areas that I'm weak at, I know that every day I'm being pushed towards the right direction. We talked about having a clear vision, a clear goal, having that level of intentionality. If you're not doing constant reflections, how do you know you're on the right path? And it's gonna be different every single day, okay? There will be some times where there's a ton of strengths. There's gonna be days where there's a ton of weaknesses. But don't try to create additional chaos and do that. Just simplify it. 2 strengths, 1 weakness. If I can address these, man, those are small wins that I will have for the next day. And that's a good sense of creating positive momentum. Do regular reflections. Number 4, network. But do this the right way, please. Networking isn't just relying on people to do your work for you. That's actually what we call a leech. And nobody likes a leech, to the point that if you are a leech, people will go out of their way to ensure that other people don't surround themselves with you as the leech, because nobody likes being taken advantage of, right? I'm sure that you wouldn't want that either. So networking, to do it properly, means that you have to get yourself to the point in which you can actually provide value to the community. You can contribute to the community. And it helps a lot when you are the initiator in terms of the contribution. It's much more likely for that to be reciprocated when you need it in the future. Let's give an example. My freshman year of college, there was a lot on my plate. There's a lot that I failed to do. But the one thing that I did really well, that I continue to reap the benefits of, is networking. Every single freshman class for the first 2 weeks, I recognized the fact that we all wanted friends. We all wanted a community. And what I would do is, after each class ended, just with the people next to me, just the 2, 3, 4 people in my little corner, I would say, "Hi, my name is June, and it's very nice to meet you guys. This class seems to be kind of complex. If you guys would like, I think we should exchange numbers and we can put ourselves in a group chat. And if we need any clarification, we can help each other." I have never been rejected by asking it in a nice way like that. Because again, all of us are on the same boat. We have no idea how complex the classes are gonna be. We know that we're just as good as the community we surround ourselves with. And if you have a good community, again, you start to recognize pretty quickly in college, especially those gen eds, that your professors don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So there are so many times in which I would email a professor and it would take them a week for them to respond. A week. Mind you, I'm in an accelerated program, so a week is a substantial amount of time, meaning that there were probably quizzes already that I wasn't able to use their help with. There were assignments that they probably weren't able to help me with because they delayed in the response. But after building a good network, after building a good community, I could literally just message and say, "Hey, could you help me understand why this concept is this?" And actually, there's something called the curse of knowledge. And that is when somebody is so much of an expert for a while, it's hard for them to enter back into a beginner mindset. And it can make it very difficult for that expert to teach the beginner. So a lot of times you'll find that information is best taught by someone that can bridge the gap, someone that is a little bit more advanced, but not too much more advanced. That's what the community is for, because you'll come into college with all these different backgrounds. You'll be strong at certain areas that other people won't be strong at. So I'm good with biology. My other friends are really good with computer programming. If I need help with my MATLAB script, bam, shoot a text. "Can you explain this function?" They'll help me. If they have a question about certain physiological phenomena, I could be sending a text, "Hey, this is exactly what it means." That's that community. That's that network. But I am much more likely to offer that help than try to ask for that help. Does that make sense? And so building a network of talented individuals is maximizing each other's strengths so that you can all be elevated. It's not about taking advantage of other people. Please don't do that. Please don't be a leech. And a lot of times, if you find yourself, this is another practical tip, not able to provide as much value as the other individuals, that's possible, right? Maybe you just don't have as deep of a background as other people, but you still want to contribute. You still want to be a part of a network. Be the organized individual. Be the person that goes to every single class. Be the person that takes good notes. Be the person that knows exactly when exams are, assignments are. Be the person that has the syllabus already on their phone or on their iPads or their computers that is readily available. Because if you can't offer help with a certain concept, I promise you there's a lot of college kids that are very disorganized and they will just lose points because they're not aware of different deadlines. That's a thing that you can offer, and it doesn't take additional skill. That's just effort, right? You could literally, if you're in a group chat, say, "Hey guys, remember that we have an assignment due Wednesday. Hey guys, remember that We have a test next Thursday, so you guys should probably start studying. That reminder will go such a far way because you become a valued individual in that community. And again, other people are much more likely to reciprocate that effort in the future. Number 5, time management. Please have a schedule, okay? And there are really two contrasting radical viewpoints. On one side, there's individuals that think scheduling is not for them, that it's really rigid, that it's only for people that care about just work. There isn't any balance involved. It's not sustainable. And so they think schedules are altogether really bad and they stay away from it as much as possible. And they like more of a flexible, natural flow to their days. And then there's the other point of view where it's you should schedule every little thing that you're doing and you should have an incredibly packed schedule because it details every little thing that you're going to be doing on a daily basis. I'm more in the middle, okay? I believe a schedule is really important, especially for procrastinators. It goes such a long way because a lot of times what happens is us as human beings, we make thousands of decisions a day, a lot of them subconscious, and that wastes cognitive effort. And as you hesitate longer, your mind and your body start to go into this battle, and your mind knows what it should be doing. Your body wants to stay where it's at, and your body usually wins. That's why we have such a hard time going to the gym when we know that we have to go to the gym, because our minds know our bodies don't want us to, so we stay stagnant for long enough, and then we start to feel bad about ourselves while our body stays stagnant. So procrastinators, it's really helpful when you schedule because you'll have an outline of exactly how to go about your days without wasting time on making decisions. You just go through it. Now, you shouldn't be just blocking work. That's where the issue comes when people are scheduling. They think that they should have every little block filled in terms of exactly when they wake up and when they go to bed, that all of it should be involving some sort of productivity. And usually it's not actually productivity, it's just busyness. And being busy doesn't mean that you're being productive, okay? Having a packed schedule doesn't mean that you're doing anything right. It could mean that you're overworking yourself. It could mean that you're being really inefficient. And so there's a fine line there. The best way to do this, and I've been scheduling for so many years, and I believe it's a humongous aspect of how I've been able to have the level of success that I've been fortunate to have. Always schedule time for rest and play, always. Because people like me that are very productive in the sense where we have all these big goals and we know what it takes to get there. What happens is every time we try to rest, we feel guilty. And so tell me if this has happened, you'll go and you'll think, okay, I am so burnt out right now. I should go out to dinner with my friends and I should just take the day off. And you do that and you wake up the following day and you don't reap any of the positive benefits. You don't feel any of the positive benefits. You're exactly where you were before you did those things. Now you just have 2 less days that could have been to your use. Why is that happening? Because that first day when you went out to dinner, what you were doing was subconsciously thinking about the actual outstanding tasks that you had that you could have been doing. And the second day when you're resting, you're starting to subconsciously feel a little bit guilty because you're thinking, I just went out the night prior, maybe I should do some work. And you're constantly in this battle between, again, your mind and your body, and you don't allow yourself to fully rest. This happens so many times. In order for you to actually enjoy the moment in which you are currently in, it helps to know that it's okay. You've given yourself the permission to do that already. In other words, if you proactively scheduled out your week and you said, okay, if I schedule these blocks this way, I'm going to be able to do everything I want to be able to do this week. I'm going to be able to make some serious progress. That's a great thing. And so when I block in these rests and play, it's okay because it fits in my schedule. It's okay because I've already allowed myself to do this. And you feel a lot better about doing it. And you can fully enjoy those moments. So scheduling is not just for rigid people. It's for people that want good balance. It really is. And it's for people that understand the importance of taking breaks and how healthy that can be only if you allow yourself to fully reap those benefits. Scheduling helps with that. Another practical tip I'll give to you is always give yourself more than enough time. What I see happen a lot is when I teach people it's a time block, they will schedule, but they will go out to dinner and they'll schedule maybe an hour and a half for dinner because they're thinking, okay, we're gonna be eating just a burger. It'll be like 35 minutes, we'll talk, etc. They're not accounting for the fact that it's gonna take them time to get ready. It's going to take time for them to commute. They might have a wait. They might want dessert. Their conversations might go a little bit longer. They're not worried about the commute back. They're not worried about the fact that a stranger might stop them and talk to them and they might have a good conversation, etc. And then if you do that, every other block that is subsequent to that eating dinner block is going to be pushed back, is going to be ruined, right? And then you might jeopardize sleep. Always give yourself more than enough time. What you should do is continue to reflect on how long each task is taking you. And so now maybe after going on many dinners for the last year, you're like, okay, maybe I need 3.5 hours for these dinners so that I can be comfortable and eat my meal without stressing out. That will only happen if you are being intentional and actually timing what it actually takes for you to complete a task. So it's important to keep that account of how long each task will be. You'll get better at managing each time and giving yourself enough appropriate time. But in the beginning, always block out your rest and play on top of your work, of course, and also make sure that you're giving yourself more than enough time for each block. That's how you properly manage your time. Number 6, take care of yourself physically. Treat yourself like you matter, because you do. It's hilarious to me that people will always ask about investments and they love to think about what can I invest in order to maximize my return. How about you? How about the body that you're living in? How about the vehicle in which you're in on a daily basis? How about the reason any of this is possible is because you're alive, right? Your health matters. Invest in yourself because it's more than worth it. And the idea here is longevity. It's okay that you don't make substantial, ginormous leaps of progress on a daily basis. Just incremental success is what we want. But we want that for long periods of time. That's truly how you build a legacy. That's truly how you have success in life. Nobody wants to be a one-hit wonder. Nobody wants to have success for 2-3 years and then live a life that's unsuccessful for the remainder of their time. People want to have consistency in terms of success over the period of their life. Longevity, okay? All of this is great until you get sick. You get sick and how do you feel? Like the world is ending. You're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe I took it for granted. And you're kind of in this feeling because you don't know how much it's worth till you don't have it. That's what happens in sickness. And it's annoying because eventually as you get healthier, you start to forget about how you felt while you were sick and that mindset goes away. You need to have that mindset consistently, knowing that your health can go away. Protect it, take care of it, maintain it. And more than anything else too, there's all of these internal factors that are so helpful, but in a more surface level, I know that this sounds trivial, but it matters in terms of a first impression, okay? Especially when you're going into network, when you're going into job interviews, where you're going to meet people that you want to be sure that you can have a good impression with. Self-care, physically being fit is a really good start because it shows that you take care of yourself. It shows that you matter to yourself because you're willing to invest in yourself. Self-care is so important. So there's that fitness side in terms of going to the gym, doing your cardiovascular training. All of that is so important. Then there's the nutrition side. You should certainly be accounting for the things that you eat. I'm not talking about being super rigid, but have an understanding of what healthy eating looks like, have a balanced meal. And also self-care goes more than this in terms of making sure that your mind is clear. So the reflections will help with this. Make sure that if you want to meditate, the way that you do that depends on where you are spiritually. It doesn't mean that the way that you meditate is how I meditate. I meditate on the word, but that's what's working for me. That's a good way to keep your mental clear. So that's a part of taking care of yourself. And in turn that bleeds to being healthy physically. I don't ever want to detach those from one another. I think having a healthy mind means that you have a healthy physical being too. Now, also consider skincare, consider hair care, consider being hygienic. Those are all parts of physically taking care of yourself as well. And it's important, all of it, I promise, in terms of showing to yourself that you matter, showing to other people that you take yourself as something that's serious and valuable and worth investing in. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically, okay? Number 7, resilience. Stop running away from what's hard. I know it's tempting, but it's the worst mindset to have because it will bite you in the butt in the future. I promise you. Because every opportunity in the future, every opportunity that you're going to want to do will have parts of it that are challenging. If you run away and make it a habit to shy from having your weaknesses exposed, that will continue on in the future. It just won't go away because the opportunity is good. It will stay there and you'll be tempted to do that forever. So I always talk about this, and this is the way that I present it every time that I teach somebody about the importance of resiliency. Resiliency, while doing the things that you don't want to do, combined with an opportunity that you want to do, that's when you become a powerhouse, okay? But you have to build that resiliency. So stop taking just academic level classes because they're easy. Start taking honors, start taking AP classes, start taking additional course loads, start challenging yourself with high value skills on the side. Continue to push your boundaries and never allow yourself to settle just because it's easy, okay? Well, what did we talk about in the beginning? If you want to attain all of those incredible goals that we talked about, you have to be different. Being different will be hard, but also your mind can be reprogrammed. It really can. So if you've grown up being this person that's afraid of taking on challenges, don't think that it's over for you, because you can reprogram. You can retrain your mind to see something as difficult. It's okay to be afraid of it. That's a natural human emotion, but it's not okay to not take action, okay? So understand that it will be hard, still do it anyways, and eventually you'll have the confidence to put yourself in difficult situations, knowing that you will grow from the discomfort more than anything else, and that you will have the confidence to figure things out as you go. That's how I feel about it, right? So for example, when I was doing the Guide to Academic Success, it was the biggest project I've ever taken on, because it was collating all this information, packaging it in a way that was readable to people from all different knowledge backgrounds. That's not easy to do. Studying and understanding how to study has been important to me for the last several years while I've been doing biomedical engineering. But that doesn't mean that everyone else is coming from the same background. So to try and cover the nuances without making it overcomplicated, wow, was that a challenge? And also trying to develop a website, trying to have a team, all of that. I've never done that before. And it wasn't like, oh man, this is easy, I'm gonna figure it out. No, it was, oh my gosh, I am so incredibly fearful of what's about to come, because this is gonna be so hard. But you know what? I've proven to myself that I've been able to overcome a lot of difficulties in my life and challenging moments. I can do it again. That's how I approached it. So I learned on the go. I thought, okay, this is terrifying, but I will continue to push forward because I'll figure it out. Did we run into issues? So many issues. Everyone knows this. Our site was down for like the first 2 days of pre-orders. The traffic was so high. I didn't know what to do. So I spoke to like 25 customer service reps across 48 hours without sleeping at all. It was a lot, but never once did my confidence waver. It was the idea that I will figure it out. That's what happens when you build resiliency. Resiliency is so key to taking on big challenges, and we all know big challenges are how we get big results. Number 8, taking calculated risk. Calculated. I hope that we can underline that somewhere, but calculated risk, okay? I don't like the idea where people think, oh, because you're interested in it, because it's a passion of yours, drop everything in life and do it with everything that you got. Don't text anybody, go ghost, drop out of school. No, I'm not like that. I'm genuinely not like that. And I've been able to have some pretty good success. So I would say that you don't have to be like that if you want to succeed. Take calculated risk. In other words, do everything you can possibly do to mitigate your risk. This is a perfect example that I give everybody. So while I'm in college, right, all I want to do is provide myself as much opportunity as possible. I chose biomedical engineering because of the versatility. I could find myself in various practices and disciplines still with that degree. That's great. But what if I don't want to do biomedical engineering anymore? It's possible, right? It's up to me to create opportunities. That's why I started social media. Look, if I can motivate people with my story, man, is that a really cool job? Maybe I want to do that full time in the future. That's what I thought in freshman year. And I can only imagine the marketing experience, all that comes with social media. But if I told myself, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just drop out then and just pursue social media because now I have a newfound interest there. That's not taking a calculated risk. That's taking a silly risk off a decision that was impulsive. Don't do that. And then probably the next step would be people are thinking, okay, then the calculated risk would be to hold off, graduate, do really well in school, and then after school, since you have your degree, then do social media. Yeah, that's better, but still not where I want it to be. Just do both. You have the energy, you have the time. It's not like you're 25 with a child and you have a mortgage to pay. No, you got nothing to lose. And so in my head, that's how I'm talking to myself. Just do both. Do both. Figure it out. Just put yourself through the difficulties and figure it out. Now that I've built a platform, if I graduate and then I want to do social media full time, I know, okay, I have a steady source of income. I know that I have the impact, and I know that that has always been the goal of the platform itself. So I've never hindered in terms of losing that focus. So I know if I was to focus on this full time, I'll be able to continue on in that trajectory and have a lot of success. That's calculated risk. Does that make sense? What I want to tell you, especially because a lot of my audience members are in college or late in high school, the goal is to mitigate risk while providing yourself as much opportunity as possible. That's the goal, okay? You can do it. Don't listen to everybody that says, oh, you're young, you should just focus on your academics. No, don't do that, because the market is so competitive. It's so competitive, and it will continue to grow in competitiveness. And so by the time I graduate, it'll be hard. But by the time, if you're younger than me, you graduate, it'll be even harder. But that's not a new phenomenon. It has always been the case in which you have to differentiate yourself while developing high value skills so you can leverage for other opportunities in the future. That's how you take calculated risk. You mitigate the risk by just putting in more effort, becoming more efficient, and then you'll find yourself with multiple opportunities in the future without having to stress about what career you want to go into. Number 9, self-belief. And I was actually very hesitant to title it that because it sounds so cliche. But you know what? It's cliche for a reason. It's cliche because it's worked, it matters, it's important, and it's been that way for a really long time to the point that it's become cliche, okay? Now, I can't begin to describe to you how much I was ridiculed, how much I was bullied, how much I was outcasted, how much I was made fun of or doubted on a daily basis, especially when I started social media, right? You thought that was received well by my immediate community? No, it was the conversation point of every dinner, of every hangout. I would get my videos sent into the group chat and people would make fun of it. They would do those laughing emojis and reaction. That's certainly probably not something you should do when your close friend is looking to build something. That can shoot your confidence down. And that's what would happen to me. But actually, that isn't unique to social media. That's every aspect of your life. When you try to do something different, when you try to build something that other people don't have, that will come. It's natural. But if I can give you any word of encouragement, it's this. You will never be challenged that way in terms of a ridiculed, in terms of a teasing, in terms of a doubting tone by somebody doing more than you. It'll always be those that are doing less than you. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Because that's serious, okay? If somebody doubts you, that means that you're doing something right. You're doing something that's different. You're doing something that matters. So when you're at the top, you become the topic. That's always been the case, but it's hard to relay that without actually experiencing it yourself. But I promise you, you will experience it if you haven't already. And what happens though, is the people that are doubting you a lot of times is those that are closest to you. And that's why it can hurt more than anything else. Why does this happen? Because they know where you came from. They know that you guys both started at the same spot and they are terrified of your potential. If you succeed in what you are building, it shows to them that they did something wrong, that they missed out. In other words, your failure is their justification for never trying in the first place. That's why they doubt you. I promise. A good friend is someone that will actually congratulate you on your successes and actually feel bad for you when things are hard. It's not somebody that preys on your downfall. That's what those individuals are doing. So having a sense of self-belief is so important. So in other words, when you're younger, you grow a dependency on other people. That's how I was. And I cared so much about what other people thought about me. And that was the case for all throughout high school. And it didn't really stop being the case till college. And that was a tough transition because what that meant was, first, recognizing the negativity. Yeah, these groups of people don't actually care about me. They're very, very negative. Number two, remove yourself from that negativity. And then number three, it's the hard part. You are alone for a while trying to become the most highest, most attractive version of yourself. That's the reality of the case a lot of times. But it takes someone that believes in themselves to remove them from the structure that was their community. But it's only when you do that that you can become the high value individual that again can provide value in a network. And then you become the magnet, that's step number 4, in which like-minded people come to gather and grow. And that's the community that you actually want, filled with people that you actually want to be around. Self-belief is critical. You will face adversity no matter which way that you look, no matter which endeavor you try to pursue. It doesn't matter what they have to say about you. It matters about what you say about yourself and that belief in that saying, whatever it is that you view yourself as, can you believe that is true? Number 10, give back. It's great to have the success yourself, but it becomes that much sweeter when you can help other people get to where you're at. When you can elevate others, man, that's, in my opinion, true success, right? Now, this isn't to say you're helping people that don't want the help. There's a lot of those individuals too that think that they're all good, that they don't need you, that they can figure it out on their own, and they reject your help. If that's the case, stay away from them, right? Because the more you try to help those individuals, the less value you're putting into your words, because you're just throwing them away basically. Help those that want it, and I promise you there will be people that are looking to you once you attain a level of success. Always remain humble, always be thankful, always understand that that could be taken away from you, and while you have it, try and help other people. There's this mindset that people get into once they touch a level of success, and it comes with a title that I call greed. And it just becomes a very scary world when you start to think that you're the only one that's right. Other people's opinions don't matter, that other people's success doesn't matter. There's no better time that I have than doing social media, simply because the positive benefits I see in real time happen almost instantaneously. When I hop on a call with one of you, when I go on lives, when I post a video, and it makes an impact, that means I'm doing my job. When I can go and buy my dad dinners, when he comes home from a 13, 14-hour workday and we go out to dinner and he doesn't have to pay the bill, that's the impact that I want to have. Never forget that. When I can take care of my parents whenever they're going on vacation, that's the true impact. And when you can give back to those that were always there for you without asking for anything, it's one of the best feelings ever. Never stray away from that. Never think that you're too good for anyone. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. That got me a little bit emotional, but those are the 10 things that I believe if you can do, if you can implement, if you can, one, recognize the importance and then apply it, I believe you'll be in the top 1%.